Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It's about 5 minutes after 4 on March 12, 2014. We're going to take a look at the chart. Another interesting day where, even though we've seen, well, I'll tell you about it after I read this to you. Never mind. For right now, let me just read this. The website and the video are for educational purposes only, and nothing stated at the site or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I am not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. So let's take a look, and I'll tell you what I was getting ready to say. What I was going to say was, it's interesting that that almost all of our trend lines that we have on this chart have been representing something of technical significance, even when they just produce a little bounce and give way. We can still see that some of these lines at least represent speed bumps. So that you remember, that's kind of it's not just but my take on things. I think it's a lot of people's take on technical analysis, but the idea is this: that trend lines are barriers. You can have a small barrier that, given a little bit of selling or a little bit of buying pressure, these little speed bumps kind of will turn the things back or create a bounce without, as long as everything is kind of flowing along. Then you have other barriers that may represent more of an obstacle. So if you have a little bit worse news or a little bit better news, in other words, a stronger set of fundamental forces will take things to another level where you're looking for support or resistance. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's what you know already. But basically, to make a long story short, today we came down to our parallel support line right here early on. And if we zoom in on that, you can see and I didn't move this line. I believe this line right here was a little underneath it, because this is a parallel line. So I started it kind of back on the first part, the first touch. If we look at a 30-minute chart back here, it gets kind of touched there, got a little bit underneath it. Today it got tagged, and then we started to move back up, albeit not extremely strongly. But if we look at what took place on the 10-minute chart, you can see that we were in a descending channel. We broke out of that channel early yesterday, could not hold that breakout, back tested twice, then came down fairly hard. We opened today with some downward momentum, but then ended up coming back, noodled around this line again, and then made, on this 5-minute chart, if we look at the trading that took place from about, I'm going to guess that's about 11 o'clock on. A couple different ways we could draw this. But I think the way it looks to me is we rebounded off this bottom line, came back, got over the top of this steeply descending resistance line right here. You could see, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we got over it, then kind of went sideways, and it's open to interpretation if you want to just say that's just a straight little flag, or whether you want to say, well, actually no, it's a pennant, and this was the initial breakout, and then we back tested it, and then near the end of the day we had our little rally. So basically it looks like we're wanting to bounce here, and if that's the case and we come back up and we start knocking on 1883 again, this could be an important line And if we do come up and knock on this line again, we may be seeing a very familiar pattern, and instead of it being a small inverted head and shoulders right here, left shoulder, head, actually I had this line there to start with, but I've moved it. Maybe we have left shoulder, head, and then right shoulder, and then we take out 1883, and we get over 1900 with that projected move. So right now, we end the day over this descending channel. It looks like this breakout that took place on the 11th may simply have been premature. So could not hold that move, met resistance at 1883, came back down. Looks like for now so we found support at about 1855, and let's see if we continue on up tomorrow. This looks like a pretty good evidence of a turnaround, even stronger than what we saw 2 days ago, because we came down to a little bit lower level of support. And you know, I've felt all along, you know, when I was talking about this inverted head and shoulders pattern that we've been looking at, the one that's not exactly a classical pattern. Here it is, left shoulder, head, sort of a right shoulder. This pattern points to 1958 as a target, and my feeling is if we had just tried to go on up and get that quickly, I think that would have been met with a lot of headwinds from all of this resistance up in here. But if we manage to go sideways just a little bit more, then all of a sudden, for example, if we find ourselves coming back up to this line, then dipping down again, and at some point in the latter part of March, taking out this 1883 line, then we have a nice path on up into the mid-1900s where we don't have to deal with any of these resistance lines right here until sometime in the future. So I think what we've seen this week, what we saw at the latter part of last week, to me, looks like a healthy thing. So guys, let's just keep our eyes on it, see if this line continues to hold as support, see if we do come up to the low 1880s rather, see if we find resistance there again. And let's see if this big old pattern back here, which is the first big pattern, significantly large pattern we've seen in a while, see if that thing can get the job done. Because 1958 would be pretty sweet. And depending upon how we get there, if we get there, that might also be an opportunity where we start to squint our eyes in just a little bit and say, now, how long can this run? How long can this bull market, which is now 5 years and 3 days old, how long can this keep it up? So guys, that's the video for March 12th, 2014. Thanks for taking time out of your day to view it. Thank you for your support. Take care.